Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Brave Briefings, where brave men and women come and share their stories or their tips on how we can live safe and peaceful lives, devoid of harassment and toxic masculinity and sexual and gender based violence. Are you brave? Hi, I am Lois, your friend for forgiveness from Walking Without Skin. And today I have another brave woman with me, and I would love to welcome Lynn Coleman to the show. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lois. Thanks for having me here.
I'm very glad to have you here. So please share with our viewers a little bit about who you are.
Hi, yeah, my name's Lynn Coleman. I'm from the UK, live in the Netherlands, and I work with trainers, coaches, and healers. So they're people who are really have got a lot of empathy, and I've discovered over the years that they have a problem with stepping up and being seen, and they hide a lot. And I've realized that women do this a lot, and this is and there's a lot of the time there's a lot of trauma behind that. So that's what I wanted to come and talk about.
Great, thank you. And what makes you brave, Lynn?
What makes me brave? Well, I've been through a couple of things myself, and I keep going. So whether and I've long since learned that being brave is a different thing than feeling brave. Being brave is just getting on with it, and you don't have to feel it to do it.
Fantastic. So thank you. You said you wanted to speak about the E of brave. What would you like to share with us?
Yeah, well, as I said, I work with a lot of people who are really have a lot of empathy. It's something and something that I've experienced myself. So I wanted to talk about empathy, because I think empathy is a wonderful thing that a lot of women have, where it allows us to nurture, take care of our kids, take care of families, pets, all those kind of things. It makes us care. But what I've realized over the years is that we also it's also a dangerous thing. If we are because empathy is focused out a lot of the time and not focused in. So when we're focusing on other people, it's very easy for us to forget ourselves. And if we encounter somebody who wants to make use of, who enjoys that empathy, and lots of people do, we like people with empathy, then that can lead us into situations that get us into trouble. So I think women with a lot of empathy need to be careful, because they're going to be attractive to the people who with the toxic masculinity, those kinds of ideas, because it will attract that kind of, like, often it'll attract that kind of guy. So we need to watch. If we're very with women with a lot of empathy, we need to watch out for people using that empathy and using it against us. So
And how can we protect ourselves from that?
be aware that it can happen. That's number one, I think. And listen to that little voice. So, if you get confused in situations, you think, oh, huh, why is he taking it that way? Why is he saying that? Listen to that confusion. Don't then think, okay, I must be wrong. No, there's something going on in the communication there, and focus on that. Don't make it all your problem, because it never is. So just be aware that this can happen.
Right. And do you think people can develop empathy?
I think if you have no empathy when you get to be an adult, I don't know. I'm not sure it's ever going to really get there. They talk about different kinds of empathy. You've got empathy in understanding things, and there's empathy in feeling things. So I think you can learn to understand things, but I'm not sure you can learn to feel it to the same extent. And I think if you do have empathy, you need to be aware of that as well. Not everybody has as much of this stuff as you do, and it's take care of it and take care of yourself.
And you mentioned that women have empathy. What about men?
Well, of course there are men with empathy. on here to say there are no men with empathy. There are good guys out there, of course there are. You know, but I think that society tends to encourage us to as women to have a lot of empathy, and it encourages it less in men. Although younger men, I see a lot more of it in younger men. If I look at my son, you know, that's there, you know, no problem. But I think for you know, society for guys has pushed them to being competitive, to you know, towards aggression and, you know, getting things done, and that doesn't always go together with empathy. So it's a big change that's coming on. I mean, obviously I would love it if society became, you know, we all had more empathy. Life would be a lot better if that was the case. It really would.
Well, I think we've got to teach people to be empathetic. So,
Yes.
can you help people develop the empathy?
Well, that's. I mean, most of the people most of the people that I work with have loads of empathy. They're intuitive. They, you know, they know things that without them having to be said. They're very, very developed in empathy. And in terms of how you could develop it, I think the main thing is ask questions and listen to the answers. Really listen to the answers. Don't just think, oh, I know what I'm going to answer now. You know, that's not the kind of conversation you need. You need to be listening with open up to hearing what somebody's saying. And I think that's the big thing. Listening is the way to go.
Absolutely, and having the compassion as you're listening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not about, when you're listening, it's not about you and, you know, your next statement, or how you're going to win the argument, or anything like that. It's really trying to understand what somebody is going through when they're speaking. Yeah.
I think that's so important. If we can really understand and be empathetic when we experience difficulties and toxic behaviors, we can certainly help people realize what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, we have to start from there. I mean, if you I think if you just attack somebody for their behavior, all they do is they start defending themselves more. So, you know, I think the toxic masculinity, there's different forms. There are some guys who are never going to change, and they're, you know, there's no point being kind to them because it's never going to happen. But I think there are a lot of guys who don't realize what it is that they're doing, and they're the people that we should be talking to and encouraging them to listen and to open up and talk to us as well, because a lot of the time I think a lot of guys are very lonely. They don't have the same friendships and as a lot of women do.
And I think it's important that they also share their views with other men as well.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we, if we reach one, we teach one, and then we can spread the word.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We have to keep talking about these things. You know, I've done that with my son. I've, you know, and with my daughter as well. And we talk about these things, and, you know, they sometimes roll their eyes when, oh, here she goes again, but that's okay, because that means they know what I'm going to say. So, you know, that's fine.
Oh, that's brilliant. So thank you very much, Lynn. It's so important that we work with our empathy, that we share, that we develop compassion and kindness, and we can make a difference. We can definitely make a difference. So
Absolutely.
you too out there, all the viewers, you too can be brave and fight the scourge, this silent pandemic. So you can connect with Lynn. We'll put her contact details below, or you can connect with me at Walking Without Skin. Do join us. Be bold, be brave, and fly free. Thank you very much for joining me, Lynn.
You're
Bye.
very welcome. Okay, bye-bye.